Fallout is a series that is loved by many. The setting and location is about as important as the RPG elements that the game is known for. From the Mojave Desert to the Commonwealth all the way to the Capital Wasteland, we're kicking off a top 5 list of the next locations that should be featured in Fallout 5. If you guys like content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Number 5. Mexico, Northern South America, Cuba, and the Caribbean islands. Now, obviously, we're going to tone down the spaces in between the islands to the mainland because we're not going to have that much open water in the map. Obviously, all these areas are going to be died down a lot, but I really think that is a freaking amazing idea for a Fallout map and universe. I could see them giving kind of like a Fallout meets Assassin's Creed Black Flag vibe. Imagine traveling from all the different islands and the mainland all by like cool boats, and they could be steam powered. They could be even powered by ghouls. Like, who knows? I'm definitely seeing possibility for ghoul enslavement. Maybe there's a higher up government that's enslaving ghouls, making them run these vehicles. Not even just boats. You could have a train that connects the mainland, but it's all ghoul powered, and they're running these engines from turbines that these ghouls have to churn with their arms or feet. Maybe you could bring in like the steam powered vehicles into that and kind of have like those vehicles combat the whole reason to even need the ghoul slaves. But anyway, that's all I'll go on about this crazy lore. If you guys like that, though, I'd really love to hear you add to it in the comments, or maybe come up with your own crazy lore of stuff in this area.
Number 4. Seattle and Washington State. Seattle would be a really cool city to see in the Fallout series because there's actually an underground system all throughout the city. And undoubtedly, many people would take cover in this underground system once the bombs started falling. So maybe this game could take place in the not-so-distant future of the bombs falling. And that'd be a pretty neat new take on the Fallout series, I think. Since the bombs just fell, radiation levels would be much more lethal, and all around just radiation would be way more threatening in this game. There could be factions that remain in the underground system of Seattle, and the people that remained on top were ghoulified. This would create animosity to the people who lived underground, safe from radiation, and lead to some cool world building and decisions that you have to make with these factions. Also, seeing how Seattle is so close to Vancouver, you can include maybe some Canadian factions having hostility towards both the ghouls and the underground faction of Seattle. And there's a lot of lore behind the annexation of Canada by the US in the Fallout series, so that'd be really cool to just see that get fleshed out a bit more. Also, there's a lot of badass wildlife in BC and Washington State, and those just being irradiated is really, really cool to think about. Number 3, Alaska. Alaska would be another awesome region to explore in the Fallout universe. With the landscape being frozen, not only would you have to manage yourself from radiation sickness, but also the elements. There would also be other survival mechanics like seen in Fallout 4, like staying hydrated and making sure you're properly fed. You'll have to watch out for infection and sickness, as well creatures within the game if they attack you. Your player could also suffer an infection or mutation. There would also be a much higher emphasis on hunting, as there would be way less resources to scrounge for. All the factions in Alaska would be brand new, have remnants from both Chinese and US military. They would obviously be extremely hostile towards each other, but you could throw some other factions into the mix just to spice things up. Number 2, New York City. New York would 100% be a target for the Chinese when launching a nuclear attack. That's why it would be decimated to all high hell. It'd pretty much be a glowing sea type scenario, but instead it'd be in the dead center of the map where you would have New Jersey on the left and then Long Island to the right. And let's call it Glow York would act as a divider between these two parts of the map. You'll still be able to explore the ruins of New York, but it'll be very difficult as the area will be highly irradiated like the glowing sea in Fallout 4. With a highly dense area, tight streets with the hardest enemies Fallout has to offer. This would make New York not only a cool divider for the narrative in Fallout 5, also just a really cool endgame area to explore once you've ranked up your character. I would personally have all the factions in the game be new, aside from having the East Coast Brotherhood have a presence in the area. Number 1. Louisiana. Louisiana would be a really cool state to see, not only for its rich history in the Civil War, but also the cities within the state. Like New Orleans and Baton Rouge, you could also include bordering states like Texas and include Houston within the map. It would be awesome to see a flooded New Orleans that is just rampant with deathclaw alligators. Also to just have a much more green environment with the bayou, and maybe there's some exploration with portaging with a kayak that you can keep in your Pip-Boy and pull it out, but also would have a significant carry weight. I don't know the state incredibly well, but I can't see it being a major target when the bombs start dropping, but can see it having significant flooding, so in return you would see settlements built above ground. This would also be a pretty good opportunity for the game to have more stealth mechanics, as you would be able to swim underneath the water beneath these settlements. And I'd have a vast array of factions, seeing how Louisiana is bordered to so many different states. You could have Caesar's Legion or the NCR have a presence within Houston. Many native factions within Louisiana take hostility towards the ongoing expansion from the west, leading to almost like a second version of the US Civil War. Louisiana would definitely be my top pick for a Fallout game to take place in, just because there's so much you could do with the area. It gives them a lot of opportunity to bring some fresh new game mechanics as well, to just go crazy with a new area that hasn't really been explored and introduce some new factions. So I hope you guys enjoyed our top 5 picks for the next location for Fallout 5. These are definitely based off of our own opinions and aren't saying that these would 100% be the best locations. The very least would be really, really cool DLCs.